Justin Herbert crashed and burned. Jordan Love crashed and burned. These were two guys who got big, freaking huge contract extensions in the last couple of years, and they didn't do well. And now all of a sudden you're looking at them, it's like, well, they don't really have a playoff resume. And here comes Brock Purdy with his 4 playoff wins and Super Bowl appearance, 2 NFC Championship appearances, and maybe his agent's thinking, wow, my client has an even better resume than these guys who are making $250 million. Time for me to ask for 270. Is that what's going on right now? Or do you feel that the teams that have paid these players that have lost, their lack of success is giving the 49ers pause about their ability to win with a highly paid quarterback?
I think it's both, right? If you're in the Purdy camp and you're watching highly paid quarterbacks fall short in the playoffs, you're trying to leverage that in your negotiations. But if you're the 49ers and you're seeing highly paid quarterbacks fall short in the playoffs, you're taking pause. Now, I don't think the Niners are going to not pay Brock Purdy. I think they're going to pay him more than I'm comfortable paying Brock Purdy. I think he's probably going to be top 5 paid quarterback in the NFL when all is said and done this offseason. I think that's what the 49ers are going to do. But I think if you were smart, you would watch what's going on, right? Look at the quarterbacks that are having success in the playoffs this weekend. They're the elite quarterbacks, or they're scab, like $30 million. Baker Mayfield did decent. Or they're guys on rookie contracts, Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. So either elites or rookie quarterbacks are the ones having success. I mean, yes, Jalen Hurts won, and I think that's kind of the model for what the 49ers have to do. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is kind of in that realm where Brock Purdy is. We're like, is he good? Is he not good? He's okay.
Is he good? Yeah, probably.
We got to build a giant team around him, and we'll have success. That's kind of the situation as I see it.
Yeah, I think it's just so interesting, like, to go down the list of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league in terms of like average per year. So number 1, Dak Prescott, $60 million a year, signed this past offseason, coming off a number 2 finish in MVP voting. Missed the playoffs. Cowboys couldn't put a team around him. Number 2, Joe Burrow, $55 million a year. Missed the playoffs. Bengals couldn't put a team around him. Jordan Love, tied for number 2, $55 million a year. Lost first round, was freaking abysmal, has no go-to guy to throw to in the offense, has a good running back though. Trevor Lawrence, also $55 million a year, missed the playoffs. Tua, 53-1, missed the playoffs. That's top 5. It's not easy to build a good team around quarterbacks making this much money when I haven't even gotten to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen yet. 6, Jared Goff, $53 million, hasn't played yet. We'll see. Like, he's had a great year, 15-2. If he loses first round in the playoffs or doesn't even get to the Super Bowl, people are going to be dunking on him and saying that he's not worth the money. 7, Justin Herbert, 52-5, lost. Lamar Jackson, $52 million, Hall of Famer, still in it. Although they ran the ball a whole hell of a lot in his first game. They're breaking him in slowly. Number 9, Jalen Hurts, $51 million, still in it. Has the best offensive line in football. Number 10, Kyler Murray, 46-1, didn't make it. Deshaun Watson, didn't make it. Kirk Cousins, didn't make it. I still haven't gotten to Patrick Mahomes. That's 12 guys.
The 2 teams, the 2 quarterbacks you mentioned that are highly paid, that are still in it, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts. What do those 2 teams do really well?
2 best offensive lines in football. Also, 2 of the best running backs in football. Barkley and Gibbs.
And how do they do in the draft?
They kill it.
That's what it requires, right? Like, you need to build the trenches and you need to kill it in the draft if you're going to be paying a quarterback that kind of money. Those 2 teams show you that that's what it requires if you're going to be paying quarterbacks that kind of money and to still be able to compete. And they actually remind me of the 49ers in last year, right? Like the Lions with Goff and Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, kind of like the Niners last year with Brock. Like, they have a really, really good team. And they kind of all work together in that regard, but they don't have elite quarterbacks. Goff is good. Hurts is good. Just like Brock was good last year when everything around them is solid. So I think it's kind of clear what the smart thing to do is. Whether or not the 49ers take that avenue, I doubt it. I think they're kind of stuck now in that same model as the Eagles, as the Lions, where they're going to have to kill it in these drafts and this offseason. and put the right pieces around Brock if they're going to be paying him. Now, correct me if I'm wrong real quick, Grant. This coming season, the cap's really not going to be affected by Brock Purdy's contract, right? So this is the year where you can actually,
well, it depends. I mean, if they get his base salary will be low this year, right? Because it'll still be, but they'll give him a huge signing bonus, and then that'll be prorated, so it'll go up, but it won't be as big as it will be down the line for sure.
Right,
it'll be bigger than $5 million.
So they really got to make a push this season.
Unless they don't give him a signing bonus and they give him roster bonuses. I mean, there's ways you can kind of get around that kind of a thing and keep his. There's ways you can do it. Go look at how the Eagles structured Jalen Hurts' contract. But I think it's important that you singled out Hurts and Goff in that list, because of all the top 12 quarterbacks who are still alive, there's 3: Goff, Lamar, Hurts. One is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and the other 2 are good, not great quarterbacks. And Purdy is good, not great. I don't know if he's in the Hurts and Goff realm. He could be, he might be. But what those 2 quarterbacks have, I think it's most important that Purdy doesn't have, is an absolutely dominant elite offensive line. And I think that's what the Niners need to take away from these playoffs. Like, they're gearing up, to me, this offseason to overhaul their defensive line, because that's what they always do. They're going to get rid of Javon Hargrave. They're going to spend their 11th pick. They're going to reach on some D tackle like they did with Kinlaw and hope and let him start right away and hope that it works out. But defensive line, it's important. It's very important. But you can find defensive linemen. Offensive line is harder to find guys who are good. And it seems to me like a good offensive line, a great offensive line, is more conducive to winning. And it's more important for your highly paid quarterback. I don't think there's any coincidence that freaking Goff and Hurts are having the success they're having behind those fortresses. Like when Cap was having success, he's playing behind a fortress.